Yesterday, Toney was hit with an 8-month ban for breaching betting rules. Now, I am all in the camp of you break the rules, you pay for it. Okay, I understand that there's rules in place for reasons, stuff like match fixing and stuff like that. I get that. I 100% understand that. I also understand that he could put bets on anything other than football. He has pleaded guilty for it on 232 breaches of regulation, so betting and stuff like that. Potential. We don't know the extent of what he's put bets on yet. Let's just fucking clear that up. We don't know how much he's put on, and we don't know what he's put bets on. But the hypocrisy from Premier League and FA is disgusting. It is fucking disgusting, because you've got Toney as a great example, who is clearly fucking struggling. He is clearly struggling with some form of mental illness around gambling. And for someone who has struggled themselves, I feel in a position that I can fucking talk about this. So before people come in the comments saying, who the fuck are you? You're not a footballer. You're not... Listen, I don't need to be a footballer. I've struggled with gambling addiction, and I know the fucking signs. If you bet 232 times, or if you breach a contract or something of 232 times, there is a clear fucking problem somewhere. What I am struggling to see, or what I am struggling to understand, is that the FA, the EFL, Premier League, they all have betting sponsors, okay? If it's on shirts, stands, in the stadiums, from fucking top to bottom, it is just covered in bet. You know what I mean? Adverts. So halftime of football, the first advert is that fella coming on saying, next goal scorer, a lot of people don't want to fucking see that. A lot of people struggling don't want to see that. Me for one, I don't want to see that. I don't give, like, and I'm talking about a minority of people who struggle with gambling addiction. They don't want to see that. They are struggling. And for example, if you don't want to, for example, like, there are people out there who struggle with eating disorders, for example, okay? And seeing calories on menu might trigger them. That is very similar to people who struggle with gambling addiction, seeing bets and fucking put this on and put that on. Do you know what I mean? It's the same sort of trigger that might happen. And this is one of my biggest things about it. Toney wears a shirt with Hollywood bets on it. He plays in the Premier League, where it's covered in the sponsors and bets and stuff. As much as I agree with that, there should be a ban in place. I also agree with it should be huge support for him and others in potentially similar situations. And listen, he's not the first one to be banned for betting breaching. Do you know what I mean? Breaching contracts around regulations of betting and stuff. He's not the first, and I can promise you he won't be the last. For the extent of what he's done, then potentially it is quite a serious breach. In irregular football matches, there are roughly about 500 gambling adverts per game. 500. What hope are we giving, or what message are we giving the next generation coming up? Seen so many advertisements, bet. When the fun stops, stop. You're taking the fucking piss. If it's that easy, then it wouldn't be a fucking problem. Like, you've got the likes of TalkSport, who I regularly listen to, who, this morning, for example, the breakfast show this morning, they were saying that more needs to be done to help these footballers. The first advert was a betting advert. And then they go to Ladbrokes, and they go to this and Bet365, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're fucking saying that more needs to be done, but your fucking radio station sponsor is betting accounts. Do you know what I mean? Like Cheltenham, they all they talk about bet. Nothing's about watching and enjoying it. Some people don't want to put a bet on. Some people want to enjoy it for what it is. Like, for me personally, like, I couldn't watch football for a very long time because I'd only associate it with gambling. The same with MMA, the same with boxing. I'd only associate it with gambling and trying to make money. It wasn't enjoying. There was no enjoyment from it. When you're putting alarms on at fucking 6 in the morning to bet in Argentina fucking corners, that is not fucking fun. And more needs to be done. More needs to be done around it. More needs to support these young footballers who might be fucking struggling. There is a clear message from Ivan Toney that there is struggles going on. Yes, what he's done is not right. I'm not condoning what he's done is correct. But fuck me, if the FA are happy to give him an 8-month ban, they should fucking 100% give him some support as well. Want to see the FA putting an arm around him and saying, like, listen, we understand you've breached these contracts, but listen, we're here to support you. We're here to support you along this journey. Like, we've got to understand football's fucking corrupt from top to bottom. We've seen it with FIFA. We've seen the bollocks with it. The fact that World Cup was in Qatar. That's not done on integrity. Is it? Let's be honest now. Top to bottom, football is fucking absolutely corrupt. And the more messages or the more noise we can make around promoting or fucking getting rid of gambling sponsors from football once and for all, from sports in general once and for all, the fucking better it will be. It needs to be sorted, and it needs to be sorted quick, because how many more lives are going to be taken from it? That's the biggest question. Like, how many more lives are going to be taken? I struggle to see I struggle to think how many footballers behind the scene, male or female, are struggling, being given that much money and not much education around the harm of gambling. And I know there's a lot of companies out there, charities out there, that are doing their fucking best to support. You've got the likes of Epic Risk Management, you've got Gambling with Lives, you've got Gordon Moody. They're just three that I could ring off the top of my head, sort of thing. It needs to be sorted, and it needs to be sorted quick. The government needs to do more. The FA needs to do more. There needs to be a disengagement between the gambling and the gambling and sports, because yes, for a large majority they see it as sports, but for that minority, and bearing in mind the minority of people who bet are the people, I'm going to get this fact up properly because I don't want to butcher it, but it's fucking, it blows my mind every time. 496 people in the UK die from gambling suicide every year. 400, that's over one a day on average. 45% of addiction come from online and casino games. That leaves 55% goes through sports. Oh my God. 1.5 billion a year is spent on gambling, advertising and marketing. 1.5 billion a year. Let's look at a couple of the other facts around this, because there's quite a few. People harmed by gambling are 9 times more likely to be sent daily insensitive to gamble than those that are unharmed. I get regular emails from betting accounts or stuff, and I have unsubscribed several fucking times. 450 quid lost to gambling in the UK every second. 86% of online gambling profits come from 5% of the customers. 86%. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. And like, how many more lives and how many more times or how many more bans is it going to take before someone goes, wait a minute, there's a fucking clear issue here. It needs to stop. More needs to be done, and the message needs to be clearer. Stop gambling within sports And stop fucking gambling, sponsoring football shirts and sports as well. It needs to stop. It fucking needs to stop. It needs to stop today. It needs to stop now. How many more lives are going to be at risk? How many more times are we going to see footballers get banned? It needs to stop.